Hello folks and welcome back to Medieval Total War. I am Conostep and this is going to be part 44 of my early campaign where I am playing as Aragon. And I have finally stabilized and fully conquered my entire intended region that I set out for myself at the beginning of this campaign, which was the entire Mediterranean kind of focus here with, Antioch being my crusade objective and then all of the islands as well as Greece and Naples, because I believe that there were some Aragon sort of colonies sort of thing. I still don't really know much about the Crown of Aragon, the historical Crown of Aragon, so I'm still working my way through a book that I'm finally been reading and haven't quite gotten to the part that indicates or talks about their holdings in Sicily or Naples or Greece or any of that. But in any case, yeah, so this part's all done for me, and now all that's left is really to kind of keep an eye on the French and to see about finding an opportunity where I feel like I can strike at them. I say that honestly, their empire is looking kind of in shambles. I mean, even though it still is relatively big, they're having some difficulties. Out here in Austria, they have lost this to the Mongolians. I think that they lost it initially to the Egyptians, but then the Mongolians kind of took over the siege, I think. And this full ass garrison is going to fall in 2 years. So there's that. And then there's also this big ass army here in Tyrolia. This is going to fall to the Italians in another 2 years. And then Switzerland is falling to the emergent Swiss here as well. And this is, I should have looked at that. This is going to fall in 3 turns. Okay. And the army led by the French king here in Burgundy is not strong enough to fight off the Swiss, or I'd say the Italians either. In fact, there's really not much. I mean, their armies are really spread out, aren't they? At least here in the western part. Up here in the UK, they have lost Wales and Scotland to rebels, so they are struggling on that front as well. And they do have a sizable portion of forces here in Poland, but they're kind of cut off, aren't they? Because they would not be able to reinforce in Austria because they're kind of cut off by the Mongolians here. And then the Egyptians as well. So these Polish forces are kind of overstretched. And if anything, they should probably pull back and, give up Poland and Volhynia, Prussia and Pomerania, and probably try to refocus on their central provinces here. Because Lorraine has been lost to just kind of normal rebels, which is not a good feeling as well. The Germans still exist as well, so yeah, the French are having some internal issues here. They're not at war with the papacy, but the papacy does have a presence here. But it seems like the papacy is more threatening the Egyptians and the Byzantines than it is the French, which is interesting because the French are excommunicated. So you'd think that things should not be that well off. In fact, I am their only ally, and I could not be, further away from the truth in that case, because I am rooting for their downfall so hard. And I'm playing a big part in it. Well, I don't know how big of a part I'm playing in it, but I'm trying to play a part in the French downfall. Of course, by using my agents. It's something that I've been very vigilant about this entire campaign. And it's interesting because earlier in this campaign, I was, of course, talking about how I was using my inquisitors to, put these French governors on trial for heresy. And even if that trial failed and that governor was not killed, often what would happen is that they would lose any dread that they initially would have. And I was using that to, take away from the stability of certain provinces. However, in many cases, the governors weren't really relying on dread to keep their provinces happy. It seemed like they were going more for acumen to choose their governors and maybe a lot of piety. And now, as they're having difficulties, it seems like they're really relying on dread to try to hold them together. And what's fascinating about that is that that's providing me more opportunities to use my inquisitors to take away that dread, the thing that they're kind of relying on. So it seems like, it's like a good counterplay for this portion of the campaign, whereas earlier it didn't seem to be having too much of an effect, that is, using the inquisitors. And of course, I do have a few spies that are around, and I am using them to, spy on generals and to try to find any hidden traits that will decrease loyalty and decrease the happiness of the province if they are governors themselves. So I've been doing all that shenanigans there. Obviously, my bishops won't be doing anything because, we're both Catholic, so that's not going to have an effect. But it's still nice to have bishops around just for vision of the full map. So that all feels pretty gosh darn good, I gotta say. And I'm making, what am I making? I'm making almost 5,000 florins a turn, and I have over 200,000 florins in the treasury. So that all feels pretty good. And my military is, you know, it's getting there. I'm, you know, able to train chivalric knights, at least in one province now here in Leon. And I'm working on being able to train lancers at some point. I'm one turn into a 20-turn build for the fortress. And then I think I need two more buildings, maybe 3 more buildings after that. So still a ways away. I'm hoping to get some lancers out, you know, in the final like 50 years of this campaign. So that's kind of what I'm hoping for there. Can I wait that long before I go to war with the French? Gosh, I mean, I'm kind of curious just to kind of watch and see what happens, because I don't know if they might fall. I don't know. They're having some troubles. The Almohads did die of natural causes down here in Algeria without having to do anything, which is unfortunate. But it does provide a little bit of an opportunity for another Almohad reemergence, assuming that there is a son that just was not of age at the time that their Khalifa died. So I am also kind of having my fingers crossed for that. Here in Tunisia, the criteria is met in that the loyalty is less than 120%. And then same thing here in Cyrenaica. So I you know, would hope that the Almohads, if there was a reemergence, it would happen in one of these 2 provinces. I would not really want it to be on my borders. That would be a little bit unfortunate. Where's Morocco? Morocco's sitting at 200% loyalty though, so they should be fine, I would say. Yeah. The one position of strength for the French, honestly, is kind of here in the Levant, which is, again, kind of unfortunate for them, right? I mean, sure, like, it's nice having a pocket of power, but it's so separated from what else they have going on, you know, over here. So, and maybe, I don't know if that's okay for them. Like, that's probably bad. You know, I mean, yeah, they're doing well out here, and it doesn't look like the Egyptians really have much in the way of strength to oppose them. But man, if there was an Almohad reemergence, they could kind of sweep up this, you know, this side of the map. That could give them some issues. Also, it'd be kind of cool if there was a Turkish reemergence as well, because that would happen in, I believe the Turks did own Syria, but Syria's loyalty is very, very high. The Turks do start off with Syria, I believe, I think. Right? Right? Can't quite remember. Yeah, I'm not too familiar, but yeah, there's a chance, right? There's a chance, maybe if like, yeah, there's too many French armies here for that to happen, I suppose, but maybe if they spread their forces out, and maybe then they will kind of struggle with population loyalty, we will see. But yeah, there might be, this potentially could be a pretty quiet portion of the campaign as far as battles and wars are concerned, because I am currently at war with the papacy and the Byzantines. I no longer want to be. I do have my bishop over here trying to get a ceasefire with the Byzantines so that I can go back to trading with them here in Serbia and Constantinople and Nicaea. Yeah, all 3 provinces that they own do have ports, so that would be nice. And the same with the Pope as well. I would really like to get a ceasefire with them, but they're being really kind of crabby about it. I'm still excommunicated, aren't I? Yeah, yes I am. Yes, I don't want that. How old's their freaking Pope now? He's 44, so he's still not on death's bed yet. Yeah, it looks like, I mean, the good news, I suppose, is that I feel like I haven't seen a papacy boat in a while. Let me kind of double check the sea regions. I think I have pretty good control over the map, yeah. Yeah, no enemy boats are in the water. That's Byzantines or papacy boats. So, I mean, I can keep trying here. I can keep trying to get this ceasefire. Seeing if he can accept. Because that would be, it'd be nice to trade with a few more provinces, right? But it's also, like, not super duper necessary. I'm making 5,000 florins, and that's pretty good. That is pretty good. But being able to trade with another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ports. Oh, gosh, that's a lot. Yeah. That would be really, really nice. But in any case, I'm still sending my emissaries out to get my sons married. I have a ton of them. A few of them are married, and a few of them I think are still not, but that is okay. And yeah, I mean, I'm full on. I'm training soldiers, and I'm building buildings in every single province. So I am not pausing right now. Right now, this is go, go, go period. I'm trying to give myself, 50 years or so, maybe a little less, to get ready and get ready for this late showdown. Right now, I'm in a point of the campaign. I'm a little bit behind on my military than where I'd like to be. It's getting stronger, right? I'm kind of at the point where I should have been during the high period, which is the middle period of this campaign, where I'm kind of going heavy metal, right? I have heavy cav, heavy infantry, all that fun stuff. And then for the late campaign, I would like to move on into more like fire and brimstone kind of style, muskets, pikes, with like units to kind of support around the flanks of those formations. And I would like to play with that. Now, is that like more powerful than the heavy metal style with knights and heavy infantry? I don't know, but I like using it because it's kind of fun to thematically follow, the evolution of technology throughout history. So I will be building to pikes and gunpowder eventually. I am already building or training handgunners. I am still a ways away before I can train pikes, I believe. But yeah, if I don't have enough time to like get to that point before I have to attack France, then so be it. I will attack them with my heavy metal armies. The Golden Bull. The Golden Bull codifies much imperial power, in particular the method of electing a new emperor. By this edict, interference from the church is minimized and the power of the emperor and his 7 electors is enhanced. It is a triumph of legality and internal diplomacy within the empire, increasing the influence of the emperor. And unfortunately, the Germans themselves are not very powerful in this campaign, but you know what? Now they got the Golden Bull going for them. So looks like, church hierarchy vilified. Okay, John Wycliffe, a passionate reformer of the church's practices, has embraced heretical thought with his attacks on the church's hierarchy. His attacks on church leaders, their wealth and privileges are particularly unwelcome, unnecessary, and unwise, as is his interpretation of the biblical authority. His words are tempting many to heresy in Wessex, Mercia, and Northumbria. Interesting. So, I wonder if that's going to be causing some more issues for the French, perhaps. Maybe they will have some heretical rebellions, maybe? I'm not really sure. Looks like the Pope still does not want to accept a ceasefire with me. That's really too bad. And same with the Byzantines. Gosh darn. Okay, well, that's too bad. And the Germans are allowing me to marry their daughters. That's wonderful news. Let's see, my king is now a magnificent builder, +2 loyalty and +10 happiness. That's wonderful as well. Prince Felipe, what do you got? Master of numbers, +3 acumen. Holy shit, wow. Yeah, that's a good one. And there were a few, yeah, the French, man, things just continue to fall apart for the French because now they had another rebellion here in province. Will this be able to defeat this? Ooh, gosh, I don't know about that. This one unit of Royal Knights is probably going to beat the 2 spearmen, the 2 archers, and the 1 Pavese crossbow, which is unfortunate. But oh dear, it's it's a thought that counts. The fact that there is Christians that are rebelling against their masters because the French are excommunicated is good for me and bad for them. The fact that I'm not having rebellions because I'm excommunicated, also wonderful. And they have a few of them. Yeah, this one has some militia sergeants and some Pavese arblessers versus... Yep, they could take Pomerania because this is just a unit of chivalric sergeants. And then here, 14 Royal Knights versus... 2 catapults and a Pavese arblaster. Oh dear. Yeah, probably not going to work out there. But, like I said, the fact that they are dealing with rebellions is forcing them to... deal with some stuff, right? So, and I feel like what else happened? Yeah, I feel like the important part is that these sieges remain continuing. So yeah, one more turn before this castle falls and one more turn before this castle falls. Yeah, that's what I like to see, is that the French losing some of their armies here. That is wonderful news. And yeah, things are looking pretty stable for me as well. I was able to kill like 3 of their generals using my inquisitors during that end turn phase, which is really nice because I was just trying to get rid of their dread, but I ended up killing a lot of them. So that could be causing some issues as well. Now in just a couple of very short turns, my income has gone from almost 5,000 florins per turn to down to just underneath 1,300 florins per turn. I'm not quite sure why that's happening. My trade routes are still completely open. I can only guess to the fact that it's just my normal upkeep for all of the units that I'm training. and that must be eating into it. So I might have to do a little bit of housekeeping with certain units of mine that are a little bit outdated, or maybe mercenaries and whatnot. That's something that I can do. But other than that, I mean, I really want to get this ceasefire with the Byzantines. Them at least would be a good thing to have. So I don't want to really fight them because that risks destroying their ports. So I'm tempted to actually send an emissary over and purchase one of these armies, and maybe I can weaken them that way. And what I was looking at, I saw this general, I was looking at him, and if we take a peek at him, he has no principles. So that means that it's going to cost negative 50% cost to bribe him, and that's an opportunity that I see. So let's see what it would take to bribe this Nicaean army. I mean, the units inside the castle are not much, so if I had this Nicaean army, that feels like that would be enough to really severely weaken the Byzantines in this neighborhood here. I don't really need this army to stay alive. I can disband it right away for all I care. I don't really care. I want to take this territory and try to, I don't intend to take it or keep it or anything like that. I just want to force the Byzantines into a ceasefire while retaining their ports. That's all I really care about here. So how about I grab one of my emissaries? I have one sitting over here. And let's go on over and see what this is going to cost. So it's going to cost 15,000 florins to do this. And if that can get my trade looking okay, then I think that that's going to be worth it. So obviously right now that's going to be kind of tough. But if I can get back to making 5,000 florins per turn, then this is going to be worth it. So yeah, let's send him over there and see if he can get that job done. And yeah, let's also see if that's going to be enough to sway the Byzantines to accept the ceasefire. Because if they're going to be stubborn about this, like I don't want to have to attack them, but if I have to, I can do it, or I can just kind of bribe their armies until we figure things out this way. This is my chance to finally build a master shipbuilder here in Granada, and this is going to net me the 4th tier boat, the Carax, which is going to be pretty cool. So let's definitely get a master shipbuilder going. It only costs 1,000 florins. But it is going to take 10 years to build. But you know what? Let's get started on that right away. I think that's going to be pretty nice. I am tempted to kind of go for the spy building as well, the body house, just to get +2 spies. But I think going for boats right now is going to be pretty good. And yeah, that's I can work on the spies a little bit later here. Oh wow! So the the Byzantine general that I was trying to bribe, turns out that he was too loyal. Well, that doesn't make any sense because his trait says that he was not loyal, so that's a little interesting. I guess I could just try again, right? I don't think. I mean, that might have actually been my first attempt at bribing in this game so far. I did use bribing for one of my factions when I played in Shogun Total War, and there was no repercussion for a failed bribery mission. The emissary stayed alive, and he could just try again the next turn. So I guess I can see if that's the case in this game as well. And how about this? So my spy in Norway is telling me that the French are mobilizing and preparing for a major attack on the Egyptians. Okay, well, that sucks for the Egyptians. And yeah, Inquisitors are giving me the news. And yeah, I'm trying to send some spies into Sweden because Sweden doesn't have a border fort. But to get there, they have to go through provinces with a border fort. But yeah, I may as well at this point because I don't really have any other use for spies other than continuing to try to destabilize the French. And it seems to be kind of going along. They're having a lot of issues. They're kind of running around putting out fires. You know, a lot of these rebellions are not working out because they're not strong enough. But some of them actually are causing some issues for the French. So at the very least, it's making them run around with their armies, right? And not use their armies for other things like fighting the Mongolians or the Italians and the Germans or the Egyptians. So my gunsmith's workshop is completed. I think that might be the second tier. I'm not sure. I think it is actually the second tier. So I think I can train arquebusiers here in Sicily now. Dockyard, so I can build my caravels here in Rhodes. And the master merchant has been rebuilt here in Portugal. Finally, I can, make some decent, well, I've already making decent money, but some more money there. Gunsmith's workshop is built here in Greece. And the Citadel and Barbican. This is one of my defensive upgrades for the Citadel. I can't remember which one. So if I do try to bribe him again, what are we looking at here? We're looking at 46,000 florins. That is quite a bit higher than the original 15,000 that I was looking at before. Just fascinating because it makes me think that he gained a trait. What did he gain? So he has no principles, but because he actually did deny being bribed before, now he's a man of principle, which is plus 50% cost of bribe. Wow, what a turnaround. So that is the trade-off. That's the difference between Shogun and medieval. Whereas in Shogun, as I was just saying, there is no repercussions to failing a bribe attempt. In this game, there is. You know, you fail a bribe attempt, and you are essentially giving that general the man of principle trait, which is going to be an extra cost of bribe. So you can't just try it over and over and over again unless you're willing to pay that 46,000, which I am not. I am most definitely not. I did not press yet. No, do not do that. Do not do that. Yes, cancel that mission. Jesus Christ. Go far away from there. Luckily, so what I just did, I spent a lot of time just kind of disbanding my mercenaries that were still in my armies, something that I'd probably should have done a while ago, and I'm back up to around 4,000 or 5,000 in profits, which feels a lot better. No, that really does put me in a comfortable area to where I don't have to, like, you know, if I can't get the ceasefire, I'm not going to be screwed, right? So that's going to be fine for now, but then I'm also, this looks messy because I sent all of my injured units that need to be replenished back to their home provinces where they can get, you know, those extra men as well as upgrades and all this other fun stuff. And that is going to bump the cost back up again as I'm paying for these extra men that are going to fill out all of these units. So it's going to be interesting to see where I'm at once this is all said and done. And if I do need to, you know, actually take extra steps to try to get a ceasefire with the Byzantines, we will have to see, because for now, they seem pretty intent on just being my thorn, or being a thorn in my side, which is a little bit too bad. But you know what, for now, everything is, you know, at least my region is stable, and the French's region is not stable, so I can't be too upset with it. At this point, I am starting to wonder, so my king is about to die in the next, like, few years, I suppose. He is 54, and if not him, then there's the Pope, who's also 51. When one of these guys dies, there's supposed to be an excommunication. But since we are at war with the papacy, does that just kind of mean that the excommunication carries out throughout, no matter what? Like, we have to get that ceasefire before we can get the excommunication? I'm not sure about that. I'm starting to think that it is going to be the case, but I guess I will be finding out pretty soon. And yeah, it will be nice to know. I want some answers here, so it'll be nice to find that out. In any case, I am doing okay, I suppose. You know, my treasury is making, I mean, my profits sitting around 3,398. That's okay, I suppose. And I did lose some money during this episode. I am a little bit below 200,000 in the treasury just because of the money that I spent on buildings, I guess. But then if we look at the map, I mean, just looking at the mini map in the top left corner, you can see France's domains have been cut in half. I mean, kind of obliterated in a sense. They have had so many rebellion issues. It's been just crazy for them. They have all of these territories over here. Either they've lost, like Poland, you know, or Austria. Maybe Bohemia used to be theirs. I'm not really sure. But then they have these territories cut off, like Volhynia and then Livonia up here. Even like Brandenburg and Pomerania have been cut off at this point from the rest of their nations. Sweden and Norway are being lost to rebels as well. They're just having a lot of issues. It's interesting because I thought that their king had pretty decent. Yeah, his influence is like decent, but it's just the issues of being excommunicated himself, as well as my influence as well, you know, really messing with his population loyalty. So yeah, that's been a struggle for him. You know, he's lost Scotland and Wales at the end of the episode, of course. So yeah, they're dealing with some issues for sure. I was not able to get any Almohad's reemergence so far. Maybe it will happen in the future. We will see. But yeah, things could go from bad to worse for France, because right now, man, their domain's just in shambles. Like, absolutely just not good. It's really not good. And luckily for me, it has not come at the expense of making someone else super duper powerful, you know? For example, Egypt is still kind of in the same position as France. They have a certain power on the map, but they are really scattered. You know, they really are as scattered as France is, as far as their power is. Now, the Mongols have a decent consolidation of power, but it seems like, I don't know, they're kind of running out, I think. This is their strongest position right here in Austria. And even though they are still kind of kicking ass, I think they're kind of running out of steam. But that's the thing, like, you know, France, I mean, yeah, they still have some forces here, but like, so does Egypt. But it's kind of split. It's even, right? Between, you know, France and Egypt and the Mongols. And the fact that the Byzantines are still here, the fact that the Italians and the Swiss are here. No one's really taken advantage of how much of a mess the French Empire is, other than me, of course, who's just kind of hanging out here. And if we take a look at the glorious achievements points, France has lost enough territory to the point now where I would be making 8 more points per counting period than they would. And I don't know if that's going to be enough to catch me up, but it's a consideration. In any case, I'm making pretty good progress in, you know, taking up my military and just sorting things out as well, you know, making things, doing some housekeeping, you know, making sure that my units are upgraded and teched up and retrained and all that fun stuff. While at the same time, kind of monitoring my economy and making sure that that's going to be healthy going forward. If I do have to take drastic measures, I'm still not ready. I don't really want to go to war. I don't really want to like go on the aggressive front with the Byzantines just to kind of get a peace-fire with them. If I have to, I will, but right now we're still kind of like okay-ish, so we will see how I feel about that going forward. But you know what, that's going to be it for this episode. As always, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and thank you very much for watching. This has been Concept playing Medieval Total War. Thank you very much, and goodbye.